Hola, ¿qué tal? Aquí para Quimera Fanzine, aquí con el único Mortiis. So you're 3/4 away. You done 3/4 of your tour so far. So
Yes.
how has it been?
Been good. Doing the shows. Promo could always be better. That's the old classic fucking truth of being on tour. Beyond that, I think the tour's going well. Getting along great with the opening band too, and we're all having a good time. So I'm very happy so far.
Okay, you released Spirit of Rebellion not long ago. I believe it's probably a month old or so.
Yeah, it's like a couple of weeks.
It feels like it's an album that is coming back to full circle. You're going back to the orchestral elements.
Yeah.
More of that atmospheric vibe.
Yeah.
What was the process? What was how did you decide to?
How did that happen?
Yeah.
I did the industrial rock version of Mortiis for many, many years, and we decided as a band to take a break from that, and I got to spend a couple of months thinking about like what do I want to do, and I've been kind of playing with the idea of bringing the mask back. Cause, I was looking at these old photos of the mask, and I'm thinking like, fuck, man, I really like that stuff. And so that kind of felt like this is we took a break from the industrial stuff, as I said, and at that point I decided this is a good time to bring the mask back and let's see what happens. Just me, clean table, back to basics. So that was kind of the starting point of the whole thing, and it was like a full circle kind of vibe, and I just started making old style music again, and here I am.
Do you rather the solo, the fact that you're in control of stage by being yourself up there, or do you miss the band? Messing with the band.
Being with a band it's a lot of fun. I love being on stage with the band and just fucking kind of like you're doing the whole punky fucking performance, and that's great. But at the same time, it's really nice to just be like me, because I'm a little bit of a control freak,
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's give and take. That thing might work better than that thing will work better, but no, by and large, I enjoy fucking being on stage on my own. It's a bit weird, because I'm used to all the action and all that, but I'm enjoying it. I'm getting used to it, and I like it, and like I said, I'm a bit of a control freak, so it's nice to just be me and not have to argue with a lot of people, so I like that.
So nowadays, do you like that kind of contrast of being on the rock industrial era, and now you're going back to that, more of some sort of settle kind of?
I enjoy that. Just going back to the basics. I think it's fun to see to go back and experience
so is that some sort of reflects your life anyhow now that you're well, if you're married, kids and all that, right? So do you think
calmer, and
that might be the word?
Married life isn't necessarily a calm thing. It's
never been there, so
it's a battle in itself, man.
So probably it will be the other way around, right? We'll be playing probably brutal death metal or something like that.
I like everything.
You mentioned on an interview that your first approach to music, or one of the things that made a big impact on you, was Jim Simmons.
Jim Simmons from Kiss?
Yes.
Well, that's my first memory of seeing a musician on TV was Jim Simmons. My childhood memory was him vomiting blood. As an adult, I know he wasn't vomiting blood; he was
right.
spitting blood, whatever. But, as a kid, everything is so big and grandiose and fucking larger than life and all that. So, my memory of Jim Simmons was, him fucking filling up the TV screen with the makeup and the fucking fire and the flames and the blood fucking coming out, and I thought that was fucking amazing, you know. And I never forgot that. I was probably about 5 years old, and I think that kind of late, in a sense, like sort of blueprint for what I think is fucking awesome, and in the combination of music and visuals and things like that. And of course that went on to, you know, me discovering Alice Cooper, who of course you know later on you realize was earlier than Kiss in reality, you know, but at the time I discovered Kiss first. And then Wasp, you know, Motley Crue, early Motley Crue, and all those fucking really cool, I guess, American, very visual bands. I don't know why it was all American, but that's just the way it was.
So the reason why I ask you this question is because me as a teenager, let's say about 1999, 2000, I remember, well, I think Stargate came out in 2001.
No,
2000?
actually, that was Smell of Rain, but Stargate actually came out of 99.
Yeah, I remember seeing it this local store. There was they had a huge poster.
Really?
And I was discovering, it's local, what is it, Tower Records, I believe. I might be wrong.
Fuck.
But they had a big poster.
That doesn't happen anymore. Tower Records,
Yes.
big posters.
Right.
Oh.
And I was that.
Yeah.
That's when I was trying to discover music. You know, I was like, and I saw it. I was like, I don't know what the hell this is, but I want it. I have to, you know that the cover.
But that's the cool way of discovering music. You know, you look at the visual aspect of it, and you think, "Fuck, that really draws me in."
Right.
And that's how I discovered like every goddamn death metal band and, you know, grindcore band, all that stuff, like in the late 80s and all that stuff, because they had the visuals. It was like it just pulled you in.
And here's the thing. I remember I was like, I didn't know what it was. I don't know what I was expecting. But I remember putting it, playing it, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was, I wasn't, don't get me wrong.
No,
I wasn't expecting that.
No, that's always the case.
You know, it was, but eventually I learned to appreciate it. I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool.
There's a lot of contrast,
and,
you know. I mean, I grew up with a lot of different things, you know, like I just explained, you know, with the whole Kiss and the Wasp thing. And then getting into the black metal stuff back in, you know, 91 or around that time. And at the same time, I was discovering all this weird electronic music that had a lot of atmospheres too. So that was very, very, you know, that was like an eye-opener for me. Like, shit, it doesn't have to be metal to have an atmosphere and convey certain vibes and feelings and stuff like that. So I took all these things and I fucking smashed it together and it became Mortiis. You know, so that's a lot of contrast to that. So like you said, you saw that fucking poster and you know, you probably expect one thing and you get like a whole different experience. But that's always been the thing with me, and I mean, that's just me as a person. That's what I do.
And well, now that you mentioned the black metal, you being part, as being an Emperor member, did you feel Emperor?
I'm just joking.
Do you feel that you're? How does it feel to be part of the black metal history? I mean, because when we go back to the, you know, to the books, your name is there. In the, it doesn't matter if you're not part of that movement anymore somehow, but your name is there, and that's why the reason I'm here, and many people, you know, because of that's somehow the same movement. How does it feel, or what's your take on it? You know, just the fact that you're.
You know, we were a bunch of guys back in those days, and the cool thing about went on back in those days were that we weren't like a lot of people. So you kind of had to, you know, there weren't like a lot of bands back in those days that really black metal. Like what you actually had back in those days were, I'd say about 10, 20 people, maybe 30 people in fucking various bands. We had nobody to steal from, and this is the interesting thing. All we had were stuff like Bathory and Venom, Hellhammer, Sodom and Destruction, a couple of Canadian cool thrash metal bands and stuff like that. That was all we had to, like, you know, to be perfectly honest, that's all we had to steal from, because everybody steals from everybody, you know. It's like how things fucking move ahead, and, you know, you take stuff from that guy, some stuff from that guy, and then you turn it into your own thing and you move on. So that because, you know, the sources of inspiration at the time were pretty limited. That it forced you to be original. And that was a great thing about those days. If you ask me, if you want me on my opinion about what happened back in those days, musically, that's my best memory of those days. You know, we were basically very original, especially guys like Mayhem and Darkthrone. Those are the things I prefer to remember musically.
Do you still have any contact with any of the bands, or any even musical approach or collaborations or anything like that?
I didn't collaborate beyond Emperor.
But no, you have zero communication or anything like that? No, not anymore.
I know some of the dudes.
Yeah, okay.
Of course I do.
So now with the family thing, when you go on tour, so you have kids, right?
Yeah.
What do they think about it? It's like, I'm gonna go to the other side of the world to put people on trance, or like what do you explain to them?
I don't really explain to them what I'm gonna do. I mean, they've seen the Mortiis mask, and you know, they know I'm a fucking weird guy. But honestly, I don't think they care that much, because they've known me their whole life. Mm-hmm. My children, you know, I mean, they just think I'm this weird fucking dude, but I'm just their dad. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't really have a better answer than that. You know, that's all they know. Strange motherfucker. I'm not like other dads, but they love me. I hope. I assume. You know, I would die for them. You know?
Right. Yeah. Then again, back to the 2000. I remember on your website, getting videos of all this underground movement was more of somehow like a rare thing, you know, to have access to. You know, and I remember going to your website
earlier on. I guess now it's videos of everything.
Well, yes. Yeah. And I remember going to your website. That's when I discovered Stargate. So I was like, who the hell is this guy, you know? I knew Emperor, but I didn't know you were part of them. You know, that's how I had...
really? All right.
And I was like, who's this guy? And I remember going to your website, and it was like all this list of myths about Mortiis. And I was like...
Yeah, like from like the early 2000s?
Yes, and there was this Mortiis eats kids. He lives in a castle in the middle of the forest. You know, there was a bunch of things.
Stuff with wolves.
Yes. Yeah. So who came up with all that?
I don't know. I mean, but that was the thing. There was so many fucking... Excuse me. There were so many weird rumors and little, I don't know, anecdotes or whatever going on about me for a while, that I simply decided, like, this is fucking just ridiculous, you know, like some of it had like a grain of truth, but it's basically all bullshit, obviously, you know. I just figured, you know what, let's just fucking take all these things, because we got like a list of it now. Let's just put it on the fucking website. It'll be entertaining for people to just read it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was stuff about fucking me walking down in New York and fucking people fucking dying, whatever. And, which is almost true, actually, by the way. And, these people, yeah, that was the situation. It's a situation.
How come?
No, I had a photo shoot or some shit like that in New York. It was a long, long time ago. And I wasn't able to get out of the whole costume and, you know, the mask and all that stuff. And I had to walk down, like, for a bunch of blocks in New York City. And I guess it was a bunch of like elderly women that I had to pass, and you know they were making a sign with a cross. It was like The Exorcist in the fucking street. It was pretty damn ridiculous. It was funny. It was entertaining, and it turned into like the label made a big press release about it. You know,
they did the job.
They will sensationalize freaking everything. You know, to sell records, whatever. You know.
It worked, I guess.
Yeah, I think it did. I mean, we got some press out of it. I mean, I was just walking down the street. That was all I did. But yeah, stuff like that, it just gestates, and then it becomes a much bigger fucking thing than it really actually was. But as for, well, that one was started by the label, but beyond that, as for all the other stuff from that list that you mentioned, I mean, I have no idea how to start it. I mean, they would just email to me by people that heard them.
Mm-hmm.
I collected them, and I would just send them to my webmaster at the time, and this is what's.
Well, let me tell you, it worked, because
Well,
I
we're
remember
talking
seeing
about
it and I was like,
I thought that shit
it
was
made
like,
me
wait,
curious, you know, like,
Yeah.
because I was like, is this guy for real? Is this an actual troll? You know, my teenager mind was
It is
like,
a
what the
natural
hell?
troll.
I guess.
What is an unnatural troll?
I don't know.
Just joking.
I know you are.
I'm kidding.
Okay, you played in Mexico a couple of times, right? There's a big gap between all these shows.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
I did a show summer 2018 was
Mm-hmm.
the last time, Mexico City, and before that it was a massive gap. We did like a thing right after the Smell of Rain album. Well, it was in support of the Smell of Rain album, which was actually together with like Moonspell and Pain. Maybe one of the act that I forget now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty big show. That was a cool show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any plans to go back to tour or not? Not at the moment.
It's just, it's down to like what ages want. I mean, if
Okay.
someone wants to book me, I'll talk to them.
Mhm.
You know, that's my stance on everything. I mean, if you want to book a show, get in touch. We'll see what happens.
Okay. And just last one question. Love Chaos. No, I'm just kidding. I know the answer for that.
Book or film?
I'm not gonna ask anything about it. How cheesy is the fact that I'm wearing an Emperor shirt right now for a Mortiis interview?
Yeah.
Cheesy
Was
as
there a
fuck.
question there, or
No, how cheesy it is the fact that I'm wearing a...
how she?
How cheesy? How ridiculous is the fact that I'm wearing a Emperor?
Oh no, that's fine.
You take it as a compliment, or you're like, oh shit, another guy with that
No,
crap?
dude. I thought the Emperor back in those days was a fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Then it got a little too technical for me, but that's
They were past you?
Isha is just such a fucking amazing fucking musician, but you know it's with all due respect, it's just beyond the technical aspects of what I find enjoyable in music.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I respect his abilities and all that stuff, but I thought Emperor was probably best around like 92 to 95 or so, in my taste. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
If I have to introduce Mortiis to someone new right now,
Yeah.
Will you
Major
pick-
asshole. Major asshole. That's how you do it.
I was gonna say pick two songs from your catalog that you will
Oh,
be.
that is so difficult. I mean, because back in the
Yeah.
old days, you know, like what I did was my main inspiration, in one aspect of the inspiration that I picked was from the old sort of German krautrock guys, where they did like 25-minute long songs, so like Klaus Schulze and Tangent Dream and all that. I thought that was fucking amazing. Where I realized at the time that I don't have to obey these rules. I don't have to make like 4-minute songs. I can just go on and on forever. Fuck everybody. So, you know, choosing two songs is like saying, here's 50 minutes of fucking music. But, you know, and I've gone through various stages. I've done so much different types of music. Personally, I would say, I mean, I'm very happy with the Spirit of Rebellion album that I just did. I think it sounds like what I wanted to sound like back in the 90s. So any song after that album, I mean, it's a long album with 2 songs, like it's a 1 hour long album. But if you're into like more of the sort of industrial rock type of stuff that I did for a long time, and I got really good at doing that stuff too. There's a song called Demons Are Back that I'm very proud of, from 2016, off of the Great Deceiver album. I'm really proud of that because it represents a songwriting level that I'm proud of. And lyrically, it also deals with a lot of shit that I had in my head, and I feel like it lays my psyche on the table in a fairly representative way. So that's a song I would recommend. So actually, I have a video on YouTube, so people can just go and check that out. So you know,
I'll put the link.
yeah, cool. Thank you. You know, so and beyond that, I mean, you know, just whatever off of the Spirit of Rebellion album.
All right.
I'm very proud of that too.
Okay. Any last words?
Thanks for fucking hanging in there. You know, it's been a long time, and it's always nice to see people. These days, I see people crawl out of the woodwork that had, you know, like, hey man, I heard your album, whatever, 94, 25 years ago, and I'm still here, and that's fucking amazing to me.
It is.
Yeah, I appreciate that very
Somehow
much.
you're living the dream.
You could say that, yeah.
I will tell them.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Mortiis, everyone.